Good afternoon, Monterey. It's to the Quality Life meeting for Wednesday, the 4th of November, 2020. I don't think we heard the introduction from Tina. Unfortunately, I think she was on mute. But I appreciate the introduction. First and foremost, just like previous weeks, we're not out of the woods yet as we speak about COVID-19. And please be mindful that the decision authority for health protection conditions, Charlie to Bravo, that transition, it resides with Admiral Grady at U.S. Fleet Forces Command and U.S. Nav North in Norfolk. So continue to feed the information as pertinent and paint the picture here, and we await what that decision would be in the future. I also wanted to manage expectations going forward. Because if and when Admiral Grady decides to authorize Naval Support Activity Monterey to transition to a health protection condition Bravo from the current Charlie, not much will change because many of the quality life services are operating as though at HPCon Bravo. In other words, at health protection condition Bravo. There's a process called decoupling. And so a lot of the services on the base have already been what's authorized by Admiral Grady to be decoupled. And so when I say not much will change, like the NEX activity, the temporary lodging such as Navy Gateway, RV Park, Historic Del Monte Hotel, the Navy Lodge Monterey, and then you have things like eateries such as Del Monte Cafe, the child youth programs, fitness, recreation, and Fleet and Family Support Center. When we do it is when that authorization does occur, they're already operating in a fashion that is really at HPCon Bravo right now. So we do, however, anticipate that an authorization to HPCon Bravo will come with some ability to implement some alterations to a limited number of quality life services with mitigation such as outdoor eateries. We have an intention, it's all teed up, ready to go for some outdoor eating opportunities. Child youth programs, the intent would be to increase some of the capacity beyond what we're currently limited to in HPCon Charlie, and to include restoring some of the teen center operations. So there are some positives, obviously, and I think we all look forward to moving forward when the conditions merit. That said, Team Monterey, we're collectively ready to safely and yet timely move out and restoring services as applicable on the installation as soon as Admiral Grady decides it's prudent to do so. All right, and I'm shifting gears a little bit. Hopefully this is not news to anybody. It should be a reminder, but the Department of Defense is still operating within a continuing resolution, which ends on December 11th, 2020. So we'll see in the weeks ahead how that pans out, but in the meantime, we're under a continuing resolution. In terms of looking at where to find information, please refer to the Naval Support Activity Monterey Facebook page for useful information pertaining to things like the Chief of Naval Operations on Monday. He released a message regarding the upcoming holidays. There's information there about the annual influenza campaign or influenza vaccination campaign, the annual Combined Federal Campaign or CFC, personal financial management webinars, and also November being the Native American Heritage Month. There's information posted on that. So again, please, it's a simple Google, whatever search engine you're using, either work at home and just Naval Support Activity Monterey Facebook. Some new items. First off, is that for those that this pertains to, the Naval Support Activity Monterey Annex Main Entry Control Point, in other words, gate. There was a construction project for the last couple of months. It's now complete, minus a few punch card items. That the Annex Main gate will reopen, or operations will be shifted from the current commercial gate to the main gate on Thursday, the 5th of November at about 1400. So you see that towards the end of the workday on Thursday, tomorrow. Another item is more of a reminder, but I don't believe I brought up in the last opportunity we had to have a Quality Life Town Hall, and that is there'll be a scheduled electrical power outage from 07 until 6 p.m. both Saturday, November 7th and Sunday, November 8th, affecting most of Main Site and NPS campus. Of note, the NEX facilities and the gas station are not currently scheduled. Those are to have power, so if you come on the base to use those services, those buildings and then the associated capabilities within those buildings will have power. And doing that outage enables us to have a contractor install some new medium voltage selector switches, and thus enhances our electrical resiliency moving forward. So through some preventive and upgrade maintenance. So thanks for your understanding and your patience in that regard. As a reminder, the NEX began barbershop operations Saturdays, last Saturday, October 31st, and Halloween, with one barber. That number of barbers will increase if the customer base dictates doing so. The hours on Saturday are 09 to 3:30 p.m. for those interested. Also, the Sunday operations of the main store for the holidays will begin on November 29th and continue until December 20th. The hours when those holiday Sunday hours or Sundays begin is 10 to 1600 or 10 to 4 p.m. On those Sundays. Also, as a reminder, that the Naval Support Activity Monterey Fitness Center, including the NOFs, is closed for federal holidays, including Veterans Day. So this upcoming Wednesday, the 11th of November. So please put that on your calendars. And then also, as a reminder, the Naval Personnel Command Navy ICA services, which is our Common Access Card DEERS office on board the installation, restarted normal operations Monday the 5th of October, remains by appointment only. Those hours are Mondays 07:30 until 3:30 p.m. With a break around lunch with the appropriate signage. The representatives that work the CAC and DEERS office asked that if you do need to contact them, we've previously put out each of their work emails. There is an email that they would prefer you send it to, because it gets to both of them at the same time, so they can most readily service your request. And it's all lowercase, and it's correction. Let me just start over again. IDCARDOFFICE@nps.edu. So in other words, idcardoffice@nps.edu. And so please use that email if you're trying to reach out to the CAC and DEERS office to ask any questions. And also, as a reminder, and to finish things up before we get to any questions, Navy's Band Southwest Virtual Veterans Day Concert is on the 11th of November. The Navy Band will provide a content via the virtual venue, and wait for some further details to be posted on Facebook. Most likely going into next Monday, we'll have some additional details as to when you can tune into that on the Naval Support Activity Monterey Facebook page. With that, and with the fact that our Fleet and Family Readiness Director is not here, he is taking a well-deserved time off. The first question is basketball racquetball courts, question mark. Those will not be opened up, not even in HPCon Bravo. They not fall into the criteria for operations. We got to go all the way to HPCon Alpha. And also the basketball court currently at the fitness center is being used for the exercise equipment in order to have the proper spacage and to allow it to be used by authorized patrons. So with that, I don't see any other questions in the chat. And I'll give it a couple minutes and see if anyone has any questions or any concerns.
Anthony?
Yes, ma'am. So this is Dr. Pullman from the Systems Engineering Department, retired Marine. I was wondering if, I've been seeing the students around more, and they tell me that they're allowed to go to the gym, and the way it's done is there's a scheduling system, and they set up an appointment. But they've also mentioned that that system, those slots, the available slots, if you will, aren't really necessarily, there's some available still. They're not always filled. I wondered if there'd be any consideration, or if it'd be possible to consider allowing retirees to maybe sign up for those slots on the day of or whatever to make sure that they're still available for active duty, but also give the retirees the opportunity to get back in the gym.
Yep, already been asked, and our head coach said no. So not within my purview to do it. I can't. It has to be authorized by higher headquarters, and we're in line with all the other installations in Southwest right now that are also at HPCon Charlie. So we even asked the question if we go to HPCon Bravo, that's going to be a possibility. And right now, it's not looking like it would occur, but the request is out there if we were to go to HPCon Bravo.
I'm just curious, the logic in that, because it's not like we're discussing the matter, it's a matter of degree. And if there's slots that are schedulable and available, why wouldn't others be allowed to use them? I'm not being argumentative, I'm just presenting it as a question.
I have an answer for it.
And that's fine. I just wanted to, throw it out there as a logical, logical question, I think.
Yeah, it's just like the barber shop. We've asked several times now higher headquarters to allow retirees to use that service.
I mean, these are privileges that we have earned, and again, it's not a matter of the point of the matter, as in it's not allowed, but it's already allowed and it's available. It seems like logical to me, but I just wanted to at least be heard on that.
Yeah, I suspect it has to do a lot with the preservation of the force. That seems to be the operational commander's biggest concern. So
yes, of course, but if there's slots,
yeah, that's why I suspect that that's a lot to do with it. The FRAGO that came out from Fleet Forces months ago, inhibiting active duty service members from using a lot of the services, if not most of the services outside the fence line, is another reason. The reason why, my understanding, Admiral Grady authorized some of the services to be used on installations by our active duty is because they don't really have any other outlet. It was to allow them a place to go use services that allows them to remain in a bubble. So I fully appreciate what you're saying. I mean, there's capacity there. I don't have an answer for you though.
It's the same for us. Nothing's open up and down, and I'd buy a treadmill. I have the money, but you can't buy those either. So
yeah, no,
take a break here.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, there's a question that just came up, a similar question in the chat. It says, why are the Army retired allowed on the Army base in Monterey? Because they're at HPCon Bravo and they have a different senior leadership. So they have a different chain of command within that leads the Presidio of Monterey. Their 3-star is different than our 3-star and our 4-star. So different capabilities, different missions, and different mindsets. So I want to say, if I could be incorrect, it says Army retired allowed on Army base in Monterey. Why are the Army retired allowed on Army base in Monterey? I suspect that's in reference to the facility, like the fitness center and stuff. I don't know for certain if they're allowed to use, if retirees are allowed to use the fitness center there or not. But why are the Army retired allowed on the Army base in Monterey? Now that I look at this again, that question, I mean,
yeah, it's the same question.
All service retirees are allowed to be on the access to the installation here at Monterey.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is Dr. Mortlock over in the management. It's a similar question. It's fine. It's just a little bit of inconsistency between the Army and the Army is allowing retired folks to work out in their facilities, and the Navy is not. It's an inconsistency between the policies.
Yeah, and if it makes you feel, it's not going to make any feel any better, but if you want to paint the picture even more, it's the same things happening throughout CONUS and really OCONUS too. You've got an instance where I came from previously in the Western Mojave Desert, where we had installations from other services to the east and the south under different protocols. And even down in San Diego, you've got the 3 metro bases, and the Marine Corps being a fellow member of the Sea Service. They've handled things, or they've set in motion different things than the Navy has. There's disparities in different ways how we do things.
And I appreciate your answers. Just like Dr. Pullman, I wasn't trying to be combative. I just
they're all good.
I just want to create the demand signal and let you know that there is a huge demand for the facilities, and as soon as we can be allowed to use them, there is a huge demand signal for them, and that's all.
No, I do appreciate it. That's, same thing with, like I said, with the barber shop and other things. It would be wonderful if we could open up some of this to a larger population. And again, I don't know the exact mindset. I can't get inside the hula loop for some of the folks in higher headquarters. I do know there's been a lot of discussion. I know operational commanders on the U.S. Navy are very sensitive to the mission set that the Navy has. I mean, I fully appreciate that every area has different nuances to it and different considerations. And I know that's looked at in some respects. But right now, with the operational mindset on the West Coast and trying to get ships and submarines and aircraft to conduct operations, Special Forces, EOD, you name it, you can go right down to any operational unit, really. There's a lot of sensitivities to how those units have to operate and what type of environment they're operating, and they really want to keep the service members in a bubble. I don't know if you're familiar with all the procedures that the service members have to, in the Navy, have to partake in, and to some degree our Marine Corps also, if they're embarking on ships. It's a very extensive protocol to make sure that they enter into a clean environment on the ships and submarines and are able to operate the aircraft. So I imagine that has to do with some of it, some of the reasons why we have not shifted to Bravo yet. I do know the request is up there. I mean, just as of recently as last night, my immediate superior, Admiral Bolivar, she indicated to all the installation CEOs in the region Southwest that she is re-engaged again. I mean, it's a daily conversation, but and it's numerous flag officers that on the operational side and then feed into the greater decision-making loop within Washington D.C. So yeah, unfortunately, I would say unfortunately, it is what it is, and it's a lawful moral order, so we'll execute it. The other one was we can just go up there. That's where I used to work anyways. Okay. I appreciate the feedback. Yeah, if you want to go use Colonel Chung's facilities over at the Presidio, I guess that's an option. So I do know I want to say there's a handful of, I saw that in driving through the parking lot at Del Monte Mall, I did see that there was, I want to say, and I'm not advocating for doing this or any particular service, but I did see that the One Fitness organization that's over at Del Monte Mall has a setup outside the parking lot, and yeah, I guess you could go that route. It's pretty chilly. Although I will admit, where I came from, we had a loss of our fitness center due to some seismic activity, and we set up a Rocky gym outside. I know my predecessor asked to do that here along with yours truly, and that also was not an option. So in the current environment, so I think the big thing at this point is to go to Bravo, and then or stage 2 of this whole situation, and then we can start working and chip it away at different services. So hopefully that makes sense. What other questions do we have? Any questions, concerns? Seems pretty quiet out there. Okay. Well, we've got about 20 minutes. I really appreciate you chiming in, and I don't want to say it's Groundhog Day, but it isn't, because there is changes occurring. There are things coming up. I did want to point out that you'll probably notice that there's some between steam outages, electrical outages, gates, construction, things like that. There's a concerted effort to address some of the aging infrastructure as we're in this current scenario, and while there's not as large a footprint on the installation. So it's pretty challenging to move projects forward based on different funding cycles and planning cycles. But to the maximum extent possible, we're trying to do that. And so if you see some of this and you're like, wow, there seems to be a lot of, or more than I've historically seen in the past when it comes to service outages, like utility outages, that's one reason why. Some of it was planned, frankly, coming in here about almost a little over 2 months ago. Some of that is planned, but some of it was moved forward in order to, when that time comes and we can have a larger footprint on the installation, and those decisions are made by some of the tenant commands also, we don't have to now interrupt people's work days and things like that with different projects. So with that said,
Captain, there's one more question. There's one more question.
Oh, we got more good. We got more questions.
Mary Gilbert, she's
blanket policies are hard to implement. Yes. As more of a comment than a question, but appreciate it. Is there an estimated completion date for the new, it says Love Shack in quotes, that's the Del Monte Cafe. So we did get traction. There is movement. You've not seen, if you've been on the installation recently, you've not seen workers over at the job site for what is known as a Love Shack, but as the official name is the Del Monte Cafe. We had a work stoppage, started about 3-4 months ago. We've got past that impasse in terms of, yes, they're not workers at the job site, but there is movement behind the scenes in order to address some design aspects and some underground items that cause the work stoppage. Once the work continues, it's about a 7-month contract completion date. We are diligently aware, or we're very aware, we're diligently working to get that construction project done before next summer. Is that a guarantee? No, but we want to have it done by this, at the latest, summer of 21. Not because we have any crystal ball, we can see when there'll be a larger footprint on the installation, but obviously it's a very highly visible location. It's disruptive in terms of traffic and vehicle patterns and things like that. And also there's a companion project that goes along with that, that is moving along also in parallel. It's for good reason, the timing, but it's a little bit behind the actual construction project of the new cafe, but it's a companion project that has to do with removing the existing facility, making a pavilion and things like that, and making it just a nicer area in general. So, but again, the objective to have the cafe done is next summer, and then the companion project will follow that one. So, because we don't want to have the cafe not usable until the new cafe is up and running. So ideally that answers your question. It is estimated, and it's more of an objective than an estimated. That is our objective that we're pushing for. You're welcome. All right. What other questions do we have? Anything? I'll give it a minute or two, see if anyone else chimes in here. Okay. Well, with that, we've gone about 25 minutes. If you do have any other questions, feel free to chat those here the next couple of minutes. I want to say that Tina will remain on and we can capture those. And we'll either send them off separately, or we can answer those at the next Core Life meeting, which is in 2 weeks. So, yeah, okay, great. And so I want to say thank you again for taking the time out of your day and being online with us. One day, that's another aspect I would really appreciate is, I think this format works fairly well for a good number of individuals. Although I typically have in the past, from my experience, done these types of town halls in person. It facilitates conversation and dialogue and things like that. So, but for the time being, we're doing this, but I'm excited for that day when we can start doing these in person again, and we'll go from there. So thank you much. Take care. Hopefully everyone had, for what it's worth, a decent and satisfactory Halloween, and here's to next year. So take care and out here.